In the previous chapter, Zhuofan led the demon-scheming sect's elders on a bold rescue mission, showing his fearless leadership. Kui Lang was in awe of his confidence and power. Let's begin the chapter. Cough. Clearing his throat, Zhuofan looked at the elders and venerables, his face hard and dead serious. People, we'll stop here for now. I need to make you understand why we're going to the mystical heaven sect. He paused, his voice gaining intensity. Everyone, get ready and prepare for action. A wave of unease rippled through the crowd. They'd already found it strange that he'd gathered all the experts from the sect, but now Zhuofan's intense look suggested this was more serious than they had imagined. They looked at him, tension clear on their faces. We're going to the mystical heaven sect to... Zhuofan squinted, then shouted, Attack! To teach them a lesson! What? They cried out instantly at such a preposterous idea. Venerable Bai even refuted, his voice filled with alarm. Steward Zhuo! That's going way over the line! The 9 sects' scuffles are minor, but to attack a sect like this without justification is criminal. The Double Dragon Manor will definitely intervene and will punish us. None of us can take such blame. Not even the sect leader. Zhuofan scratched his nose. Justification? Did grabbing girls sound better? Who the hell would risk their lives then? Steward Zhuo. Venerable Qi spoke, a note of apprehension in his voice, looking towards Kui Lang and figuring something out. Is this really the sect leader's intent? He continued with a cautious tone. If the sect leader has no real reason, it's best we go back. It's not too late. If we go now, none of us can take on such a heavy responsibility for what may come. Venerable Qi looked at Zhuofan, giving him a warning glance. He was reminding Steward Zhuo, a mere girl isn't worth going crazy over. We can still turn back. Let's pretend that nothing happened before we lose more than we can afford. He didn't expose Zhuofan's real intent, a huge gesture of respect. But would Zhuofan balk so easily? Zhuofan huffed and glared at them all, his frustration evident. Do you know why I never stated the reason back in the sect? It's because I feared Venerable Xi's lies would block the attack on Mystical Heaven sect. Why? Because if they lost this battle, they would lose everything. We, however, aren't afraid, because we came from nothing, and everything will be earned after. It's never in the now. They all shook, looking at him with serious faces. Even the laborers were echoing his sentiment. Many things happened during the Double Dragon gathering, but I didn't let the 3 venerables speak of them out of fear that you would be impulsive. With a long, drawn-out sigh, Zhuofan continued, his voice heavy with disappointment. Actually, our achievements could have been higher, but because of Mystical Heaven sect schemes, we suffered in singles, losing our chance to become a superior 3 sect. That really happened? The oldies whispered amongst themselves in anger. Zhuofan eyed Fiend Yang, shouting, Venerable Fiend Yang, isn't that so? Yes. Startled, Fiend Yang bobbed his head, though Zhuofan had deliberated with the team to report only good news for a greater achievement. Yet, Zhuofan now used it to justify his plan to get Chu Qingqing back. He would do anything to instill hatred into these people and save his girl. Fiend Yang had no clue about this, so he just agreed. With a dark look, Zhuofan gnashed his teeth. The sect leader was enraged when he heard the dire consequences. Mystical Heaven sect is a lower 3 sect like we used to be. Now that we're about to become a real middle 3 sect, are we supposed to stand for their humiliation? That's why the sect leader sent me a month earlier to return the favor, to show off our sect's power. Having seen Steward Zhuo's plight, they now understood that he didn't leave for the secular world as they were told, but because of the sect leader's order. But just as I got to Mystical Heaven sect, something grave happened. Zhuo fans. Tone shifted, becoming more intense. They want to combine with Heaven Trailing sect. This will raise them above the middle 3 sects' power, just so they can suppress us from the shadows. Hearing this news, I rushed to report to the sect leader. During that time, there were even 2 elders who came to silence me, but of course, I killed them instead! What? The oldies exploded in rage. The mystical heaven sect was too damn presumptuous, leaving double dragon gathering schemes behind, sending elders to kill their greatest contributor. That must be punished. Do they think they can mess with demon scheming sect? Seeing their anger, Zhuo Fan grinned internally. The sect leader was furious hearing this and wanted to deal with them personally. But you all know that the sect leader is holding talks with all kinds of empires. If we get pushed back because of 2 sects, it will affect our name. That's why the sect leader had me make the first move. Since we can't win against the Heaven Trailing sect, that doesn't mean we can't touch its little bro. So the sect leader gave me his badge, leaving me in charge. Even if the Double Dragon Manor would punish us, we have to fight for our name. We are a middle 3 sect now, not something a lower 3 sect can mess with. This fight will establish us among the middle 3 sects. As long as Mystical Heaven sect isn't destroyed, what's so grave about some punishment? I'd even return the 2,000 sacred stones if I had to, just to preserve our name in the Western lands. Steward Zhuo is truly honorable. If you... We'll do it! How can we not? Let's mess 'em up! The crowd cheered with a roar, ready to kill their way into the mystical heaven sect. Kui Lang had a dumb look on his face. Steward Zhuo's wild boasting had the sect's elders thirsting for battle. Now, even if the sect leader showed up, they wouldn't stop either. Just how did these shrewd old guys get taken in by Zhuo fans? Words so easily. It was because Zhuo Fan had preyed on their minds. To get someone to give their life for you, benefits are a must. Pillaging the mystical heaven sect. On the other hand, there also needs to be a reason. The sect leader's order was the perfect excuse, while also making him the scapegoat. Zhuo Fan even said that he'd return his sacred stones if he had to. It showed he'd take the blame as well. And finally, focusing their anger on a common enemy, getting everyone roaring to go. Everything went as Zhuo Fan wanted it to. He got every oldie on board, even if they had some doubts. Zhuo Fan had already smoothed over their worries. Now all they had to do was follow Zhuo Fan into battle and get those girls back. Huh. Zhuo Fan eased a breath and sported a strange grin. Danner was stumped. This big talker actually got this motley crew to save someone. Even I would have believed him if I didn't know something about this. Ha ha ha. Venerable Qi shook his head. Fiend Yang's brow shook. Wasn't that badge used to be the leader? In the Double Dragon Gathering? How did it become Wu Yui's proof to attack Mystical Heaven sect? Fiend Yang was perplexed. The disciples who went to the Double Dragon Gathering were also aware of the gaps in that glorious speech. But they were on Zhuo Fan's side. The previously puzzled demon-scheming sect's crowd was now united under a single thought: to kill. All that was left was to get to the Mystical Heaven sect. Seeing that he couldn't stop Zhuo Fan, Venerable Qi proposed a valid point. Steward Zhuo, Mystical Heaven sect is mostly the same size as us, but we are going without everyone and are about to attack their home ground. It'll be hard to beat them behind their array. The people stopped being noisy and frowned. True. Zhuo Fan's brow shook, then he grinned. He turned around to look at a black cloud coming over, led by a familiar figure. Brother Zhuo, we've come to help. Who? The demon-scheming sect's people looked up to see the sky covered by a throng of men as they flew over. In the lead was a man in his 20s, filled with vigor and regal. Zhuo Fan's features softened as he smiled. You've grown, Yunhai. Brothers have come to answer the call. Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed and he laughed. Ha ha ha, now we have enough men. My 2 armies will join forces and win. Whoosh! Just like pitch-black rain, they all landed behind Luo Yunhai. He came before Zhuo Fan in excitement. "Brother Zhuo, it's been ages. How have you been?" "All right." Zhuo Fan grinned and patted his shoulder. "I'm relieved you've now grown into your role as clan head. You must be skilled now in leading the Luo clan." Luo Yunhai shook his head. "It's all because Brother Zhuo set the stage. With the 3 stewards minding everything, even as a clan head, I didn't have much worry." "Ha ha ha. A clan head's greatest ability is to manage his people. If you'd micromanage everything in the clan, then you wouldn't be a clan head." A smile spread across Zhuo Fan's face. "Those 3 are called the wisest 3 in Tianyu. It's clearly not for nothing. With them by your side, I had no worries." Luo Yunhai was worried, though. "But big brother Zhuo, I always hoped you'd come back. I've always kept the Grand Steward spot empty for you. Even Steward Zhug won't touch it. And as for the other 2, you got their positions set. When will you be coming back?" "I'll be a steward again when I return." Zhuo Fan grinned at him. "I'm currently soaring through the ranks, yet to come back down." Startled, Luo Yunhai blinked at Zhuo Fan. Hey, there's another empty seat as well, my sis's husband. You could always—" Forget it. It's better to be a steward." Zhuo Fan shook his head. "I already have a wife. I sent a jade. Slip over to call for help just to save her, then go back to the Luo clan." "Truly?" Luo Yunhai was overjoyed. Just then, a rough voice sounded from behind. "Steward Zhuo, you're coming back at last? We've waited ages for this." Zhuo Fan looked up to see a very familiar face, his number 1 aide, Li Jingtian. He was already in the 6th layer of the ethereal stage, bursting with power and might. His grand aura even forced the weaker cultivators back. Next to him were Qiu Yanhai, Shui Qingjian, the 2 sages, and tens of others in the ethereal stage. While foreign to him, they all held Zhuo Fan in high regard. "Elder Li, everyone. Long time no see. I'm indebted to you for this." Zhuo Fan cupped his hand before them. Returning the gesture, they said, "Steward Zhuo, it's our duty." "Thank you all. Let's rush to mystical heaven sect." Zhuo Fan cupped his hands again and shouted. The Luo clan bowed and took to the skies. "Till the end!" The demon-scheming sect's crowd was in shock at such a display. These guys only had around 40 ethereal stage experts, yet Zhuo Fan told them to fight, and they obeyed, no questions asked, not caring about their safety. The demon-scheming sect had many reservations in this battle, yet they looked at Zhuo Fan's serious face with a lost look, then sighed. They are Steward Zhuo's clansmen, of course they trust him. They didn't even ask for a reason to fight, only for Zhuo Fan to tell them to. It went to show just how highly he was seen among them. No wonder Steward Zhuo abandoned the demon-scheming sect's prospects to return home. This clan was worth it. Fiend Yang and Venerable Qi sighed.